When we talked about what we wanted to do today, as they're finishing up the walls, we're not going to start for just a second. I'll tell you that there were a lot of really great ideas. But what I learned as a coach is I learned that if we can figure out that failing is okay, and then how to learn from failure to move on to the next thing and grow, then we really start making breakthroughs with our clients. And so everybody that's up here has a phenomenal business. They're all doing very well in their own individual market. But more important than that is they're all exceptional individuals. And that's more important to me than how many transactions you do, your gross closed income. But we've had it's a pleasure to work with each and every one of them at a different level. These are all either Workman Success System coaches or clients, and they all run very successful real estate businesses. And I'm going to go through and I'll just do a quick introduction really fast, and I'll make sure I get my markets right. I lost my real glasses this week, so these are my other ones. So I can see close, but not really far. So you all look great. Everybody's looking good today. All right, so we're gonna start today on I'm gonna say it exactly how we wrote it. Is I had to get it wrong before I got it right. And this is Anthony Margulis from Pacific Palisades, California. When I first met Anthony, he told me that anything under $2 million, I don't want to talk about it. We just give it away. Just give it away. And he's grown his business and building a team. It's been fun to watch him grow. Next to Anthony is Christy Buck from Pearland, Texas. You got to say it with a sweet Southern accent, or it doesn't sound right. Pearland, Texas. Christy, when I first met Christy, she was just a sweet gal looking to do something different. Felt like she was stuck, and you'll be able to tell them a little bit about where you've gone from there. Her business is great now. Please, next to Zach, who's not on the program, please write him in because he's felt a little bit bad about that. This is Zach Pasmanic from the greater Atlanta area. Zach runs a phenomenal team. A lot of you know Zach. Zach's a phenomenal individual, and he loves his people as much as his people love him on the team. That really says a lot about him. How many of you went to Bob Sokoler's class on video today? Awesome class. Bob's one of the good guys in the business. It's been interesting to watch Bob deal with some very difficult life situations, and it's been fun to watch him grow as an individual as he's continued to progress. And he's fun to have on the team. And the true video expert. If you didn't throw in our booth, we're giving away his video package that has like a GoPro in it, the selfie stick, the microphone. Make sure you stop by, throw a card in there, we'll give that away. Lee Tessier from the Baltimore area. How many of you know Lee? Lee's like if you haven't met Lee, you need to make sure you say hello to him. And he's not the guy that walks into the room, lets everybody know he's there, but his presence is always felt. He's a good man, runs a phenomenal team. His son was in the car with us last night as we were driving back from dinner. He looks and sounds exactly like him. I'm like, what? Where are you? There he is. And so if you don't get a chance to talk, you talk to his son, they sound the same. They'll probably tell you exactly the same things. And then my good friend Cleve Gaddis, also from Atlanta. Cleve only works with brokers and owners who also run teams in our coaching division, but he also has a phenomenal business and a phenomenal family. So that's our panel, and we're going to start with Anthony. Everybody gets 4 minutes. This is a 4-minute, what do we call this? We call it a speed session, rapid fire results with some of the best coaches and some of the most successful teams we have in all of the country. So we're glad you're here. So we're going to start with you, Anthony. Anthony, you ready to rock?
I'm ready.
Okay, Brianne's running the timer. Let's go. Turn it on.
Where do I go? Okay.
So Anthony, let's just start with, I asked them all to give you a list of the things they wish they knew.
I'm ready.
Let's go, come on.
Okay.
I had to get it wrong before I got it right.
I got it, okay, there we go. So working on your business versus in the business. So basically what I found is, first I want to say thank you everyone for being here. This is a great panel.
4 minutes.
And, okay, sorry. What I found is it's very easy to get caught up in the deals. So it's very easy not to focus on generating more business, doing the prospecting. A lot of the deals that we do, I had a 30-day escrow. Right now we're day 460. And things happen on the high end. And there's complications and there's challenges. And what you have to do is focus yourself and be disciplined and actually work in getting prospecting and getting additional business and not focus on just putting out fires. Income versus expenses. What we've learned, and a lot of you guys here as well, in growing your team is keeping an eye on the expenses. Everyone thinks it's income. How many units can I sell? How many millions of dollars of property can I sell? It's not about that. It's about keeping your expenses in line. people hear what I sell and they're like, wow, you must be doing great. I'm like, doing okay, but we have a lot of expenses, so keep those down. Having a great CRM, I did not have a great CRM. I met with Verl. He's been growing our team. He put us in a great CRM. It's really been helpful. It's getting systems in place.
Which one?
We use Top Producer now.
Listen to that. Here we go.
And then lastly, having a coach. So I have 2 assistants. Last year I did $135 million with 2 assistants. So with Verl's help, I've been growing my team. I had 6 buyers agents. We call them sales partners, as well as 2 admin assistants. My goal is $400 million next year.
Wow.
So that's with Verl's help.
Now, for those of you that home to top producers, do you want to go ahead and do that again? It doesn't matter what CRM you use, it matters that you use one and that you have great systems, and we can show you how to be successful with any of them. So what's the biggest change that you've had to make in your business in the last 12 months, Anthony?
Delegating and letting go and trusting your team.
Does anybody else feel like that's a challenge for them, is letting go, right? I've had that conversation with several people today.
On the high end, you think, you got to be there for your clients, and you are there for your clients, but you also, to be able to duplicate and do additional business, you have to be able to trust your team.
So one of the things that is most impressive about you, Anthony, and what you do with your team is what you give back. Would you mind sharing with everybody your philosophy on giving back?
Yeah, we give 10% back of every transaction. So in the last 18 months, we've given close to $350,000 back. And that's just really myself and my 2 assistants. So my goal is to give $1 million away back. That's really my goal. My ultimate goal is to be more like a giving pledge and give 90 or 95% back. Once my 4 kids graduate from college. I have 4 teenagers. And my wife is not on board with that philosophy, but that is my philosophy.
We still have 60 seconds, so can I ask you another question?
Oh, I want to give the mic away.
I don't think so there's a lot of people that feel like they're at a level where they don't need help anymore. You didn't even hire your first coach until you're at 100 and how many million?
It was over 100 million.
Over $100 million. What do you say to those who think you're already there?
Everyone can learn from a coach. I mean, yeah, everyone.
Yeah, and that's what I've learned that too, that it seems like the more I know, the more I realize how much there's for me to learn. And I always look for people who are better at it than I am. And I've learned a lot from you, and it's been fun to work with you and your team in the high end. So Anthony he hasn't been around at a lot of the events. You don't come to a lot of events?
This is my 3rd conference in 22 years. Wow. I don't go to conferences, but I should. It's a great thing to do. I'm kind of shy. I don't like speaking. I'm a little shy. One-on-one, I'm better.
Well done, everybody. Anthony Martinez. All right, everybody. Hey, now, Christy is going to be a little different. We're going to have a hard time pulling the mic from her. You ready, Christy?
I'm ready.
All right. What did you have to fail at before you succeeded?
Well, we failed at a lot of things before we succeeded. So I met Verl at a conference just like this, and we would go to seminars. It was just me and Samantha, which is here on the front row. There was only 2 of us at my company, and we would go to conferences, and everybody was getting these awards. We were with a franchise at the time. We were working 7 days a week, doing as much as we could possibly do, but other people were getting awards doing 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. We just couldn't figure out how we could do any more than what we were doing. So I came into a conference like this and met Verl, and when I found out coaching was going to be $10,000, I said, oh, never mind, we're just going to have to keep doing what we're doing. But I really thought about it. I thought that's 1.5 transactions. How can I not afford to give up 1.5 transactions to see if he has what could help us get to the next level and not work 7 days a week? So we wrote that $10,000 check, and we have been in coaching 4 years now. He taught us how to have all of our systems, processes. We don't go home at night going, did I do this? Did I do that? And we don't work 7 days a week. I work no evenings, no weekends. I didn't think that I could ever get a buyer's agent. Now I have 7. Because if they called Christy Buck, they want me. There's nobody else that could do it because they want me, or I'm going to lose the business. Not at all. And I never thought I could have a listing partner because I have to hold on to my listings. I already gave up all my buyers. No.
It took us a while to get to that one.
It did. That's only been about 4 months out of the 4 years. But I haven't been on a listing appointment in several months, and we're still my listing partner gets every listing she goes on. So I'm literally working not in my business. I'm over the business now. We had to learn how to hire the right people, put the right people in the right seats. Verl taught us all that. Systems, processes, tracking, every single lead is tracked now. We had a she was our transaction coordinator, and we were letting her go. We were about to fire her because every transaction was a disaster. In the same week we were going to fire her, she said, "Christy, I think I want to be a buyer's agent." She didn't know we were about to fire her. I said, "Really?" And this was before we really dove into the DISC profile and personality profile. And she is our top buyer's agent. She, by herself, on a 50-50 split, will make over $200,000 this year. We had the wrong person in the wrong place. The right person, yes. Okay, so she's great. She's a huge asset to our team. So we've learned so much in coaching, even 4 years later. We have a list for Verl every 2 weeks. So when we have issues in the office, it's put it on the list for Verl. And even 4 years later, I'll never stop coaching. So I just think 1.5 transactions was we took our business from 50 transactions a year to 350 transactions this year. And we're just going to double that next year. So we've come a long way.
So just real quick, Christy, in your last 21 seconds, biggest change that you had to make that you didn't think was possible? Like, what are the things you're really doing differently?
Delegation. Tracking.
Yeah.
Hiring, everything.
So
Everything.
I was looking at Christy's evaluation when she first came into coaching with me, and it was like, I asked her how much she made, and she gave 3 different answers on the same form. She had absolutely no idea how much she was earning or whether she was keeping it or not, and that's a lot of people. So it's been really fun to watch her grow. And so everybody, Christy Buck from Pearland, Texas. All right, Super Zach.
Well, the morning huddle. I've been coaching with Verl since I think the very end of last year. I met him at a Boomtown conference last year. But I've been reading his articles for years and years in the different publications. And so pretty much decided at that point I wanted him. Verl, of course, is not my first coach. He's about my 8th or 9th. So I've been coached to death. But I'm going in a different direction now. And Verl's been talking about the morning huddles, and so I meet with my team every morning at 9:30, and for years and years I was the first one in the office at 7:30, 8 o'clock, and then in the last couple of years I decided that 10 o'clock was early enough. But now I've got to get there at 9:30, and it is a race to get there. And the daily success.
Now, so before you go on from that, there's a little pushback from doing huddles, hasn't there been? What about you got people all in different places?
They still bullshit me about why they can't.
It's truth. It's not easy, is it?
Yeah. No. Well, I have 12 agents, so and I've always let them do what they wanted to do as long as they sold. And so now to come in every morning is not the easiest thing, but the ones that do come in really like the huddle. And I spent 6 months making excuses on why we couldn't do it.
Yes, he did.
It's working.
I can't do it. And we taught a very important principle, and it's accountability equals
Love.
That's right.
Love, yes.
If you don't care about enough to hold them accountable, then you shouldn't have them on the team.
Right. And I have 3 new agents that are coming aboard next week, and I've let them know that they've got to be there for the morning huddle at 9:30. The Daily Success Habits is one of Verl's forms that we use, and every agent has to turn that in to me. And the bottom line, as you can see, is 61 points, and it is impossible to not succeed if you're getting the 61 points a day. And even if you don't have any of the higher point activities, you can always make 61 phone calls to get the 61 points. And how simple is that? Next one is...
By the way, that's a taken right from Ashton. Is Ashton here? I know. Where's Ashton? That was totally Ashton. And when you shared your 60 points, I added a point to it and gave it one more. And we automated it, and it's now totally online. And I thank you for that because you've changed a lot of people's lives by sharing that at a CRS conference a couple years ago. So thank you.
Well, I'm not exactly sure what this is.
That's just lead tracking, man.
It's one of your 8.
No, not one of
No,
mine.
okay, well, you didn't want to talk about that.
Fine, I'm tracking for you.
Oh, and this is the greatest book in the world, the greatest salesman in the world. Agamemnon wrote 10 ancient scrolls, and we read, for a whole month we read the scroll every single morning. And this is the month of I will persist until I succeed. And we're just saying that every day, everyone's always talking about it, and it is changing the mindset of my agents.
Simple thing, it's like $7.99 book, right? How to master it's the greatest salesman in the world. And to do that, it's been fun. How's the culture of your office changed?
It's a lot better. Not that it was bad.
Everybody loves that.
Yeah,
It's not about that.
Yeah. We're changing our culture to a culture of productivity and prosperity.
And how much business will you do this year?
You mean like what, GCI?
Yeah, how many units? GCI, tell me.
We'll do 350 units. We've already closed, I think, 67 million. And we did break, I haven't really said this publicly, but we did break the 2 million GCI this past week.
That's huge! That's huge, congratulations. We have a couple other thoughts, but you're out of time, so pass the mic.
I got it. By the way, can I just jump for a second on something?
You do whatever you want,
So
you have the mic.
Anthony, I met with Anthony 2 years ago at like the second conference you've ever been to. And he invited me out to dinner. I think I spoke about video, we wanted to talk. So we went to dinner, and he told me about his story. And I said, Anthony, you're giving up so much money, because he really is. He really was turning down all of his high-end money. That was, you just didn't want to do it. And I said, you've got to do it. He didn't want to do it. So I just have to tell you, it was Verl who was able to convince him to now add this team, and he's going to make a lot more money. But more importantly, he will help so many more people. The charities that he's now going to be able to help because of this. And it's what Patrick said earlier about giving back to our community, about changing mindset, and that is all a result because he's changed his mindset. And thanks to Verl for that, because I think that's
We'll get out of time, but thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Okay.
So Bob's actually one of our coaches, and he's really fun to watch because as we coach the coaches, they have to make changes in their business and their lives. And we had a pretty intense meeting with him at our coach training last year, where we were discussing profitability, and we'll see if it shows up on his list of things he had to fill out.
All right, so a couple of things. So things that didn't work for me that I've had to change from what I learned. Lead tracking and putting money into systems that didn't work. By the way, this all worked because the phone keeps ringing because this is money ringing, but that's good. Lead tracking, I wasn't tracking leads, I was putting money into systems. How many do we get calls from maybe these people calling us to pitch us junk? Yeah. They know it's junk, and yet they're trying to make their quota and they're going to try to sell it to us as junk, and then we're going to bite into it. So that was one thing I did, and I didn't do it properly, and now I just hang up on it, the heck with them. I thought I could do everything myself. I didn't want to bring on more people. I realized that was important, and now...
There it is, there's the truth.
Okay, and I had no idea what my P&L was, and how many of you know what your P&L is at this moment? Okay, how many of you don't know what your P&L is? Okay, so you don't know what you're spending money on that could potentially be taken away and raise your profit. That's a big problem. I had it, I changed it. I have a pretty good P&L, but I didn't want to make it better. I was adamant about not spending money. I'll give you a quick example. When I first got in this business, call me cheap, and I think I changed a little bit, cheap. But I hated thinking that I would bring a buyer in my car and then spend money on them for lunch or dinner. And at one point, it wasn't in our state, you couldn't do that, but they changed it. But I still had a really bad feeling about giving money, a meal to somebody. I did. Well, I mean, a client in my car. I just didn't want to spend money on them. And then I did it once or twice, begrudgingly. I did it. And all of a sudden, I realized that these people are now committed to me for the price of a lunch of like 25 bucks, they love me because I've given them something, and now they're loyal to me. And it was a spectacular revelation that if I spend money on them, they're gonna buy a house from me. Okay, so that was another thing. I took way too much time to evaluate systems and had only 1 or 2 sources for buyers and sellers. I realized that I needed to work quicker and then find more sources, and I did. I continually worked in my business and not on my business, and that had to change. No training program for new team members, and we try to institute training programs as they come in, and now they're shadowing and modeling other agents who are successful in our office. And then not enough cash reserve to make me feel comfortable about a bad month. And if you don't have that cash reserve back there, you're really going to sweat it when you start seeing the bills come in, and then you know the next month and the next month. But if you've got the cash reserve, it's there. You don't have any problems whatsoever, and I'm doing fine with that. You have study scripts, dialogues. We try to do that on a regular basis with our agents, and it's given me more time to relax, and I need to relax and enjoy my life more, which I've learned the hard way. Now I'm enjoying my life. So that's a lot of that came from him, and a lot of it is learning, but this is something that I wanted to impart on you because I love you all. And now my buddy Lee Tessier.
Bob, that was awesome. Thank you very much. So the opposite of not knowing what a P&L is to knowing every dime of his P&L, Lee Tessier.
So I was at a mastermind, and this check mark came up, and I thought how right this was. I was like, as you're an individual and you're growing and growing and growing, and your income's going up, and then all of a sudden you have so much business, you don't have enough leverage. So you're hunting just for anybody that comes along and hire, and you start gathering people, and all of a sudden you got a group, and all of a sudden now you're working more and you're making less, and you're spending more time training and aggravating because you're hiring the wrong people. And then as you get the right people on the bus, and then you get them in the right seat, now you become a team, and everybody's income goes up and your profitability goes up much higher. So when I seen this, I thought it was just such an astonishing thing of going through the last 10 years of my life with growing a team and seeing income where I was making great income and then not making great income and then making fantastic income now. So last month we settled 54 homes. I didn't work until the 22nd of the month, except for 2 days. I did a lot of traveling. I was remodeling 4 houses, bought a couple of rentals, settled on commercial property, and worked 2 days in the office up to the 22nd of the month. So it's come a long way from where I was hiring the wrong people. So the Rocky Road was gathering people of, hey, they look good, they presented themselves well, and all of a sudden I didn't do much of a litmus test on them, and then I hire them, and then they show up the next day and they'd be totally different from what I interviewed. So I've slowed down my hiring process much. I probably meet 3 or 4 times now. I do a couple different personality profile tests, and then I make sure I meet somebody else on the team meets them and gets approval before I hire them as well. What Bob was saying about his P&L, because he was chasing all the shiny objects, I had that syndrome where I would go to a conference and I'd spend 10 or 15 grand on buying something, and all of a sudden go back and be like, how did I just buy? I spend all this money, am I gonna get a return on it or not? So I started tracking things before. I didn't have any budget. I wasn't tracking all of our lead sources. I wasn't looking at a P&L on a regular basis, and now we track everything. So we go through all our ROI. We spend 12 grand a month on radio and TV. We need to make sure we're getting a good return on that. You spend $6,000 a month on Zillow, you need to make sure you're getting a good return. One of the guys I just started coaching, top line at 2.8, but a bottom line of 100 grand. So we went through and seen how out of whack all his spending was, because you can go to these, you can go to anything. I mean, with Bob, you don't even have to go. You get to pick up the damn phone, and your phone's ringing, and you get people selling you stuff, and next thing you're saying yes, and all of a sudden, wow.
I think he was doing like $35,000 a month on Realtor.com.
Yeah, I went from 10 grand.
Maybe you'd like to coach that guy. Stop it. Hey, we're good, aren't we? Stop that.
So this is our monthly tracking, although it's kind of distorted. I don't think you can really even read it, but it goes through listings, and each of the colors in that to the left would be each one of our agents. So we have 12 agents on the team, and then just goes through commission splits, what sources, where it came from, dollar volume. So we're tracking everything that we can on that spreadsheet, so we know at the end of the month, besides when I look at a P&L where I'm at and know what my average expenses will be. So
So Lee, that's awesome. How's your business overall doing?
Last year we sold 336 homes. We'll sell 425 this year. Bought a vacation house in between. We'll flip about 10 houses, and I bought 4 rental properties this year so far. So it's been much
Congratulations.
better. Yeah. 2 weeks off in July. 2 weeks off
I don't want all the details. Patrick's going. One more. Okay, one more. Everybody, Cleve Gaddis. Welcome, Cleve Gaddis.
So I learned here today that I need to buy Chick-fil-A sandwiches for my buyer clients for lunch, and that gets them locked into me for life and don't start working before the 22nd of the month. I like both of those things. I wish I had learned both of those things a long time ago. I've been a salesman my whole life. I taught people how to sell vacuum cleaners when I was 21 years old. I did that for about 10 years. And so I have ADD, and I have OCD, and I think I have LSD, and I have all kinds of problems. So I am always very excited about the shiny object and the new solution to my problem. And I would always leave conferences like this, and I always had a good credit card limit, and it was much smaller when I left the conference than when I got to the conference. And so I've had every kind of website and every kind of lead generation and every kind of script book and every kind of everything. And the problem was that nothing really helped me. I couldn't apply it on a consistent basis until I thought it was a book written by a guy named Eli Goldratt. It's called The Goal, if you've ever read it. If you haven't read it, it's a great book called The Goal. And it says that it's part of a manufacturing process. If you want to have the highest amount of throughput, if you want to get the most stuff out of your factory, you need to find the part in the process that is your bottleneck that limits everything, and you need to focus on that. And when I realized that, it's like the whole world opened up to me, and I'm like, wait a minute, okay, so I need to find what it is about my business that is limiting the business the most. And in my case, it was my ability to generate and convert leads, because I had been through 10 or 11 years worth of brain damage in the direct sales business. I didn't have a whole lot of brain cells left, so I didn't want to prospect a whole lot. So I needed to bring in what I call a client care specialist or inside sales associates to help with the prospecting. And it really changed my business. Every day there's 40 or 50 different things that we could be doing, we could be focusing on, generating more leads, converting more prospects, watching your P&L, whatever it is. But if we look at business sort of like a puzzle, it's a matter of taking out those pieces that need the most attention and addressing those pieces and putting them back in the puzzle. So I started coaching with Verl in 2011. I was able to go from $650,000 in gross commission income in 2009 to $350,000 in 2010. I'm not sure how you do that in 1 year, go down $300,000. But I got a coach. I went to a seminar. I started coaching with Verl in early 2011, and we've grown all the way from about $350,000 up to, we'll probably do $1.8 million, $1.9 million in GCI this year, $63 million. Where last year I almost beat Zach, and now he's beating the crap out of me, and I don't understand how that happened, so I've got to work on that. So anyway.
So if I just ask you one question,
Yes.
is how do you identify the most urgent bottleneck? Like, what is the...
So you have to, I mean, I
Usually it's me.
actually wrote on a whiteboard, you know, the different steps in the process, and I just realized that we're pretty good at moving stuff through the system once we get in the system. I just needed to have people that were focused totally on client acquisition, building that relationship, and, you know, actually caring. And I hate to say it's because I don't really care. I do care, I don't really care, you know, where the pantry is in the house, or, you know, that kind of stuff. And so I needed to find other people to do that for me, and it really made a big difference in the business.
I think Patrick's going to take my mic. Everybody, thanks to my great panel. Thanks everybody for being here tonight. If you really feel like there's another level, we're not saying stuff, but come and talk to us. We'll talk to you. If we can help you, we will. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Verl. Listen, we have a real time crunch now, so usually you like to stand and talk to everybody and chit-chat. We have to turn this into a cocktail party within 55 minutes. So please, everybody get up and just get out of the door.